Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and to another reaction video. Alright, so it's been a while since I've had the opportunity to react to something from the one and only lovely Angelina Jordan. And for a while, I'd say, what is it now? It's near the end of March. So since around the Valentine's Day holiday, you guys have been recommending to me that I check out a new piece that she put up. Well, it's not a new piece, but I guess updated. This is My Funny Valentine, and of course this is a song that she covered when she was much younger, that people really thoroughly enjoyed, but this is with her as a more mature young woman, having grown into her voice, I'm assuming. So a lot of people really wanted me to check this out, and you guys, if you've been here with me for a while, you know how I am, right? I like to save my Angelina reactions for days when I'm not feeling all that great, because she's very uplifting. She makes me feel better in times when I'm not feeling my best. So I kind of held off for a little while, waiting for the perfect opportunity, and these last few days have been pretty rough, health-wise. Honestly, this whole month has been a brutal one, but the last few days in particular were really bad. And I'm just starting to try to get back into filming, and I think this is the time. This is the perfect moment for me. So I'm gonna be checking out this updated version of My Funny Valentine. Nala's here on my lap. She's demanding attention as well, so if you see some weird movement down here, that's her, but she doesn't, like, for some reason want to sit up enough where you can see her face right now anyway. So yes, and if there's fur flying everywhere, but I'm looking forward to this. Hope you guys will come along on the ride for me. Let's check this out together. Angelina Jordan, My Funny Valentine. Here we go. Wow, she really does look so grown up.
My funny Valentine, sweet calming Valentine.
IGTV. This is an Instagram video?
You make me smile with my heart.
Okay, this is very different. So this is not actually like a live performance. This is recorded. This song is so funny.
Here's your figure, less than green. Here's your mouth, a little green. When you open
This furniture is a very appropriate setting, I feel like, for like you could just transport her back in time.
But don't change your hair for me. I know if you care for me, stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, like I said, I feel like the aesthetic choices here are very lovely, because they kind of seem like they fit the time period of the song, and seems like that's the sort of time period that she kind of stepped out of with her voice.
Less than green. Here's your mouth, that little green. When you open it to speak, are you slow? But don't change
her voice honestly really has matured quite a lot. Yes. Well, that was lovely. That was lovely, and as I said, you know, exactly the sort of thing that I'm looking for on days when I'm not feeling my best. Right, Nala? You agree? Yes. Nala's purring. She's also very much enjoying this. Oh, okay. All right. So that was the recent performance of My Funny Valentine by Angelina Jordan. And, you know, as I mentioned, guys, her voice definitely has matured considerably, and it's something that you can tell. It's fascinating to actually think about and to the comparison between this and the performances when she was younger, because of course, even her performances when she was a very little girl, they don't sound like they are performances from a child, right? Not just in the way that her voice in itself is powerful, and sounds much older, but I've talked about this a lot. It's almost like she has a feeling for the songs that usually you would not expect from someone who hasn't had the depth of life experience of an older woman, older person. And like, I think I've talked quite a bit about how it seems like she's almost inhabiting the songs in a way, and inhabiting the feeling that comes out of the songs. And so, of course, it's not like just listening to a typical child singer then performing a song as a young woman and seeing that transition. But nonetheless, you could still feel how she's matured. You can definitely hear it in her control itself, just in the way that her vocal cords are working. But I don't know, for me, this was interesting because usually what I see from her is either when she's live performing something, or a very like carefully crafted like vision of how her and her family want her image to be put out into the world. And I assume this is also that way, you know, carefully crafted in the sense, but it's not like, say, a produced music video. This is it's a video for Instagram, yes, and it clearly looks like a video for Instagram. So they have the song itself is pre-recorded, is pre-produced, but then they're putting it over what would seem like a typical Instagram video that a young woman might choose to film of, you know, her own reflection of her gazing off into the distance and seemingly daydreaming of her in this lovely furniture store with furniture that seems very appropriate for the time period in which the song was written, and appropriate for the sort of time period you could imagine her just stepping into with her voice and with the songs that she seems to love so much and that she does such a good job performing. So it's obviously, like I said, very much planned out in the way a lot of her videos are for a particular image, one that fits the song very well, but it also seems more improvised, impromptu, and again, like something that you would expect a young woman to post on her Instagram. So I like that very much because it also, you know, does tie into who she is currently as a person in her life, so beyond just the song and performance itself. But I do think it is very clever, the staging in that particular location for this. But of course she looked beautiful. She looks so grown up, which is crazy to see. It's funny to me because of course this song, like if you actually listen to the lyrics, okay, it can be seen as romantic in the sense that, you know, the person singing is recognizing that their love, the person they love, is not perfect, is not what you would think of as the ideal, and that a lot of people would not find attractive or appealing, but they, nonetheless, they love them so much that those things don't bother them and that they're just so drawn to them. But, I mean, it's kind of like one of those backhanded compliments because they're pretty, like, not kind things that are being said about, you know, a person's loved one. So the song is actually, it's kind of, in my opinion, I've always viewed it as kind of comical. But nonetheless, when she performs it, it has a very romantic feel to it, even though the words that she's saying are kind of like, I don't know how I personally would feel if this was what the person I loved was singing to me and be like, really? Okay, that's how. But it comes across just as lovely and romantic and thoughtful, and a lot of that I do think can be chalked up to her particular performance and how she chooses to do this. I don't know, you guys will have to let me know your thoughts in general, because, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, and a lot of people view this as a very romantic song, but for me it's like, I don't know. But it does sound very romantic, very lovely, very soothing when Angelina performs it. Yeah. I'm just thinking about, like, her voice as it currently stands. And in this particular piece, I kept feeling like this sounds similar to some things that I have heard in the past. And I'm gonna make a comparison, but, like, please don't get upset if you don't agree, because I don't necessarily think that their actual voices sound exactly the same, but it's more about a feeling. And for me, when listening to this performance of hers in particular, I got a very, like, Judy Garland, young Judy Garland sort of feel, like, not like child, but like a young woman Judy Garland performing. And I guess the sensation was, the feelings that it provoked in me were kind of similar to the feelings that are provoked in me by, if you ever listen to Judy Garland sing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas from Meet Me in St. Louis. Yeah, so if you haven't, you should check that out and see, you know, what your thoughts are comparison-wise, because, I don't know. And probably a lot of that maybe also has to do with the fact that this was originally a song written for a musical, and of course Meet Me in St. Louis is a musical as well, and so that's like the type of song being performed, but the feeling that, for me, comes out of it, I don't know. And I want to say this, for me, this is very high praise, like, because I absolutely love that song and her performance of it, and it's like near and dear to my heart. So the fact that it gave me that feeling is giving me a kind of like nostalgic, soothing, comforting feeling, which is exactly what I needed at this particular day and time. So, but yeah, I feel like I'm rambling on, guys, but you'll have to let me know your thoughts in general. Of course, on both Angelina's, her transition into a young woman and the differences between this and her performance as a younger girl. And then, of course, everything else that I discussed, you know, the staging for Instagram, the choices that were made there in terms of the setting. You can talk about the comparison with Judy Garland I made if you know the song or if you have thoughts about that. You know, I'm just curious what you guys think as well. But yeah, thank you for putting up with my rambling and your patience in waiting for this. And Nala says bye. Thank you for not minding that she's just sitting here, not on camera, really. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.